Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi with Retail Insider. Joining me today is Arlene Dickinson, who is CEO of Venturepark and an investor on TV show Dragon's Den. Thanks, Arlene, for joining again.
Mario, I say it every time, but I always really enjoy our conversation. So thank you for having me on.
Well, you folks put out a press release the other day, which I found fascinating, that companies supported by Venturepark Labs and District Ventures Capital have a total economic impact of $1.6 billion in the economy since 2015, and that's more than 200 businesses. Uh, how have you been able to do that? First of all, it seemed like a staggering amount, but maybe you could talk a little bit about the impact that's been there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was just we engaged MNP, so we wanted to make sure that it was a economic impact study that was absolutely bulletproof, that it actually did all the right things. So we engaged a top tier accounting firm, and we wanted to understand, as we built out the park over the last 5 years, what is the impact we've had? We can see it because we're in it every day, but we really started thinking, well, wait a minute, all these companies that we've helped, and who have all these entrepreneurs who have done so many wonderful things, what have we collectively done? And so that was the intention. The intention was to see that between the kitchen that we have, the commercial kitchen we have, the accelerator that we have, which helps companies in very, very early stage, and then the fund, District Ventures Capital, when we invest capital and programming and give people the support they need in the food and beverage, health and wellness, CPG space, what happens? And the number it blew us away too. We were so excited to see that we can have such an impact in our nation. It was really very rewarding.
Let me just backtrack for a second, Arlene, and if you could explain what Venturepark Labs is and what District Ventures Capital is, and what the guys do.
Sure. So Venturepark Labs is, there's two components to Venturepark Labs. One is the accelerator, which is a 5-month program that's held twice a year, and which we bring in 10 to 15 companies. Right now it's about 10 companies, so we just like to keep it small enough that we can give them the kind of hands-on help they need. And they, for 5 months, spend time together. They get programming from a variety of our sponsors and from other educators and other influencers in the consumer goods space. And then they culminate their 5 months with a demo day where they pitch their businesses to prospective investors or retailers or distributors or anybody who can support them. And so those companies then go out and continue to build their businesses. The kitchen aspect is and that's based in Calgary, but it's a virtual accelerator. We do companies from all across the country. And then the kitchen element is a commercial kitchen that's based in Toronto, where companies can go in and they can innovate. They can use the commercial kitchen space to find that new sauce or add that new flavor. And they actually have production lines in there, so they can produce and manufacture and get their businesses up and off the ground. And we also do programming there too. District Ventures Capital is a $100 million fund. We're raising our second fund right now, but it's our first fund that we're talking about. And we've invested $100 million into early stage consumer goods companies. Some of them have gone through the accelerator. Some of them, of course, haven't. And so it's a combination of everything we've done to help businesses in the early stage food and beverage, health and wellness, consumer goods space.
So I'm just curious about the fund itself, the capital fund. Like, where does that capital come from?
So that capital comes from a variety of what's called limited partners. These are people who invest in the fund, and they give us their capital to deploy on their behalf. And we go out and we invest in businesses that we think have good scalable growth opportunities. So, many businesses that, your viewers might recognize, Chicopee Pasta is one of our companies. Bow Valley Barbecue Sauce is one. Balzac's Coffee is one, which is an Ontario-based regional coffee chain. There's a lot of companies that have come in. Flourish Pancakes, for those of you like protein pancakes, Sapsucker. These are all companies that we supported with early stage investment.
And why have you focused on this particular niche area, the food and I guess wellness area?
Because I am such a huge, Canada is this amazing country that grows a lot of fabulous raw ingredients. We're really good at that. We have a huge agricultural sector. We have a huge health sector, but we're really not good at commercializing the innovation that comes out of those sectors. So what we do is we take all of our raw ingredients and then we ship them to other countries who then turn them into products that we buy back. That makes no sense to me. I think that there's, because all the value is really captured in the last mile and that commercialization mile. So I knew there was an opportunity in Canada to really help entrepreneurs in this space to grow and develop and to take those great raw ingredients and turn them into something amazingly good and to help feed the world. And so that was the goal.
So when you're looking at these different companies, what are you looking for? And maybe can you describe the process of how you decide on what companies to fund?
There's an investment committee that looks at, there's a very disciplined approach, first of all, Mario, to any investments we make. The accelerator is done more from an innovation and, a size of business and what they'd like to accomplish and whether they're willing to learn. The kitchen is, somebody who wants to innovate and they can use the resources. The fund is much more disciplined about how it would put its capital to work. But what I can say that goes across all of them is we're looking for a scrappiness, entrepreneurs who, even though they may be well capitalized, understand how to deploy that capital in a scrappy kind of way and make it last and make it use it for growth. We're looking for discipline. We're looking for an entrepreneur who understands their strengths and their weaknesses and understands how to leverage the resources we're putting around them. We're looking for innovation. We're looking for scalability. Are these businesses able to go and grow to the size where we can put them into other markets and become exportable? So, there's a combination of all of those things. But at the end of the day, Mario, we're really looking at the entrepreneur. Do they have what it takes to be able to grow a business and to learn and to build something of meaning?
Okay, so I've got a great recipe for some great Italian sausages. I know it's been done, especially here in Calgary, but great natural Italian sausages. I want to come looking for help to scale that. Tell me what the process is for a company like myself to reach out to you.
So you can go on to Venturepark Labs and you can find the application form to go into the accelerator. So you can go on there. It'll ask you some fundamental questions. And then you can put your application in. You'll get called by one of the people in the accelerator. They'll interview you. They'll find out more about your business, and then you will either get it selected or you'll be told that you might have to wait because you have to put other pieces in place before you'd be eligible. Okay. For the kitchen, it's more about just making sure that you have, again, you can go online, you can access the kitchen, you can book the kitchen, you can, get into that facility. And then for the fund, it's again, a much more disciplined approach, but you can put you can certainly contact us at District Ventures Capital and let us know what you're doing. Send us your investment deck or your thesis. And, we take a look at a lot of deals that come our way. At the stage you're talking about with the sausage company, I'd probably tell you to go to the accelerator because you're a little bit too small. It's still an idea. Yeah. Or to the kitchen. For the fund, we're looking for companies that are a little bit later stage. They have proven traction in the market.
So how long does that process take? From beginning of me contacting you to receiving funding?
It depends on the business. It depends on how much capital we're deploying. It depends on, whether you're going to the accelerator. The accelerator takes applications twice a year. So there's a few months where the application process is open and then you can apply and then you'll get contacted and that'll happen fairly quickly. The kitchen happens pretty much immediately. And the fund, of course, could take months and months for, the capital to, if we decide to make an investment for that to get deployed.
Okay, so for the funds, I'm just curious, on an annual basis, typically how many people reach out to you?
Oh, it's a lot, Mario. It's a lot. There's a lot of opportunity in this country, in this sector, and investment space. It's funny, for so many years, people were so focused in Canada, and rightly so, on technology, and technology got all the capital, and technology was all where the growth was happening. But I'm a big believer that, food and food security and food safety and food traceability and feeling that we can actually access the type of food that's going to make us healthy and has efficacy that has health impact for us is very important. And so this space as an investment thesis is only just beginning to take off, because as we know, after coming through COVID, how important food is to us and how important our health is to us. And we have every opportunity here in Canada to capitalize on it. And that's what we're trying to do.
So have you ever thought of expanding the scope of that fund into other areas?
No, we've got our hands full right now with the areas we're in, and I'm really dedicated to helping the food, beverage, health, wellness space. This is really, it's kind of a bit of a life's mission for me right now. I'm very driven to helping these businesses get what they need to be able to have the type of impact. When we talk about $1.6 billion in impact, that happens because of focus, and that's going to stay.
Now, you've been around for a few years, and worked with.
I'm old. Is that what you're saying? Wait a second.
Didn't mean it that way. but you've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of small business owners. You've seen a lot of ideas out there. Does it amaze you that we're constantly seeing more ideas come out, and maybe sometimes ideas you never even would have thought would have existed 5 years ago or even a year ago?
It's true. You know what I always say when people ask me about being on the show on Dragon's Den, I always say that one of the things that I am fascinated by is how there's always a better new way of doing something, and that people turn their ingenuity to coming up with ideas that you go, where that's such a smart, good idea. And so and I will say, the show, people often say, well, do these deals happen? Does it really matter? This show was the reason I got into the ecosystem I built. It's because I saw these entrepreneurs coming on Dragon's Den with great food ideas or great health products or great, wellness products. And nobody would fund them. And I kept thinking, wait a minute, that's absolutely what we should be doing as a nation. And so that's what got me going into this, was a Dragon's Den, like enough years of Dragon's Den and seeing all these great ideas.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks very much again, Arlene, for joining us today.
It's always my pleasure. Thanks for inquiring about the story, Mario. We're really proud of those numbers. So
yeah, they're fascinating numbers. That was Arlene Dickinson, CEO of Venturepark, also an investor on TV show Dragon's Den. I'm Mario Toneguzzi with Retail Insider. Thanks for joining us today.